incredible. If you can find me one person in the United States that picked the St. Louis Rams to beat the New Orleans Saints, then I would be shocked. I can't fathom that anywhere, and certainly none of us here felt that way. Ken Trahan with you, sportsNOLAtv from New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company, 4141 St. Charles Avenue. As always, it's great to have our regulars with us, including former New Orleans Saints wide receiver Torrance Small. Torrance.
Great to be back. On a sad note, though, we were tricked on this trick-or-treat day.
Brian Alley Walsh of sportsNOLA.com.
Great to be back, Kenny.
Tough act to follow.
Oh, very tough act. Always is.
And our special guest panelist today comes to us from Pelican Sports Network and Pelican Sports Radio and sportsNOLA.com. Among his many ventures, longtime sports journalist and broadcaster Tommy Krysan, a New Orleans area native. Tommy, great to have you with us.
My pleasure to be here. I'm really excited about talking some sports today.
You really want to talk about the Saints?
Well, I mean, I said sports, but no.
Oh, okay, all right.
Those things happen. You
all right.
around sports long enough, those days happen.
I brought you into this, so I'll let you start. That game yesterday was, I don't know how else to phrase it other than it was a catastrophe to lose to an awful football team and make them look good in the process.
Yeah, they did make the Rams look good, and that's a surprise. As you said, you couldn't find anyone Friday or Saturday who thought the Rams would even be close in this ball game. But, you know, they're paid to be NFL players as well. They have pride. They're a bad football team, and the Saints gave them a reason to believe, gave them some life, especially late in the second quarter. They had no idea they wouldn't have picked themselves to win, much less be up 17-0 at half. Then, again, they're an NFL football team, wanted to get their first win, and they finished the job that the Saints actually started for them.
Brian, there's two things about this game that trouble me. I mean, the whole game troubled me, but the two things that really get my attention more than anything else, the Rams can't stop the run. The Saints didn't run the ball. They ran it 20 times. I know they were down. Ironically, when they finally tried to run the ball, they were down 24 points, which was kind of strange, I thought, the play calling. So they couldn't run the ball, didn't run the ball. And then the second part is their defensive front. Just looked awful, which cuts back to personnel decisions. Sean Rogers, Abrea Franklin, they're invisible. Combined in 8 games so far, they've made something like 21 tackles, and they have no sacks, and they've made no difference at all.
Yeah, I agree with you totally, Kenny. They come out and start the third quarter running the football. They're down 17-0 at half, and you figure that they're trying to establish something, but that's not what they do best. I would have thought that they would have come out and put Drew in a no-huddle, quick pace, tempo type thing. And they didn't do that at all, which makes you wonder about that. And the defensive front owned the Saints offensive front, which makes you now wonder again. Jonathan Goodwin, you know, all that at center, at right tackle. Charles Brown got turned every which way every which way but loose by, Chris Long, who looks like he should have been in the Hall of Fame with his daddy.
Right.
You know, I mean, it was just inexplicable to me how this team could go from Indianapolis and that performance, Tommy, to the game last night.
Torrance, I don't know where else to go with this. I mean, you're an offensive guy. They got whipped at the point of attack. 6 sacks, and it could have been more. Breeze had to get out of the pocket several times. And, of course, then he tries to force the ball and make plays because he's got no running game, he's got no blocking, and his receivers, and I know this is what you want to talk about, weren't getting separation. The Rams game planned them perfectly. They took Jimmy Graham away, and they tried to make wide receivers beat them, and they could not. You didn't see anybody wide open in that game. You didn't see a whole lot of guys open against a secondary, by the way, that has replaced 4 guys. 4 guys on a bad football team. Please.
Not only that, a backup quarterback they had. But basically, we got whooped up front. It all starts up front. The offensive line did not get it done. They did not block for Drew. The play selection, I thought we should have changed up, should have ran probably some shorter routes instead of trying to drop back because he wasn't getting the time. I think he was dropping back too deep. He was holding on the ball way too long, and I thought we should have got it out a little quicker. I thought also we're known for throwing the ball on first downs a lot. I think we tried to establish a run. It wasn't there. Let's be us. I don't care about the Rams giving up so many plays on the run and whatnot. Let's be us. Let's not go and try to be something we're not. I think yesterday we tried to be something we're not, and we never got in rhythm and never caught up.
Brian, the screen game wasn't there. They tried to run at it. It's almost as though the Rams knew it was coming on several occasions. I thought they were a very well-prepared team.
I agree totally. I thought they did a great job of film study. And you know what? I thought Steve Spagnuolo outcoached Sean Payton, to be perfectly honest with you. Where was the help for Charles Brown? You know, it reminded me of the Dallas game.
Right, didn't leave anybody in.
Yeah,
That's right.
They provided no help for Charles Brown. He was getting whipped every play, and they didn't give him any help, which did remind me of the Dallas game.
It seemed like in the second half or so, you will at least have someone to chip this guy. If I keep getting pressure on my quarterback, giving up, at least let me get a chip. And if he wasn't sacked, he was being pressured. So it definitely got out, Coach. I don't think like I said, I don't think we put ourselves in the best situation to win this game.
Tommy, in the NFL, you need more than one running back to sustain yourself over the course of a 16-game season, and yet you have to start wondering if the Saints aren't spreading the wealth too much. There's no continuity in what they're doing offensively at running back. Guys get touches, and they don't see the field for 2 or 3 series. You know, it was Mark Ingram who got hurt and didn't play this past week off of his best game, Pierre Thomas and Darren Sproles. It doesn't seem like any of these guys are getting a rhythm per se. I don't know if it would have mattered with the blocking yesterday. At the same time, do they need to focus on maybe 2 guys rather than 3 or 4?
I definitely believe that. And in the NFL, running backs, the successful running backs get better as the game goes along because they have that continuity. They get in a rhythm. They get in a flow with the game. And all of your top running backs usually have more yardage in the second half. Of course, the team's winning, they're going to keep running the ball. But I've always been a believer in get me 1 or 2 guys and let's go with them. And if you get an injury, you go to the next guy. Spreading it around a little too much, to me, doesn't work as well in the NFL.
And even the special teams, George, you get a punt blocked in this game. Inexcusable, a guy off the edge. You got a guy there to block him. All he needs to do is chip him to the outside. And, I mean, he just basically whiffs on it.
Fundamentals. He opened the gate. Basically, he opened the gate way too wide, just let the guy take the edge. Defense also, we had some fundamental breakdown. Patrick Robinson let the receiver go straight up the field without touching him. If you're going to be up close to a guy, you have to touch him to help that safety, so give him time to get over there. That he didn't do. I've been talking about this all year. We're not fundamentally sound. We're better scheme-wise than talent. We just don't have the talent. We don't have anybody defensively that demand 2 on the defensive line.
Brian, the Saints are dead without Drew Brees, and we all know that. And yet, if you look at the last 24 regular season games, he has 32 interceptions now.
Yeah, and you know what? He just looked, when you pressure Drew Brees, they're like anybody else. Okay, this guy is human, and he got hit many more times than getting sacked as well. You put pressure on Drew, he's going to make decisions like that. And if you don't make separation, you know what, from your DBs, you're going to have trouble.
Yeah, I want to echo what Torrance said. It's fundamentals. It's blocking, it's tackling, it's doing the little things that got you to where you are. They did none of that this week. I mean, and most times when you have a disaster outcome of a game in any sport, you can look back and the fundamentals are missing.
Make no mistake about that. This was a total team effort. The Saints lost this game in every phase. They deserved exactly what they got. Truth be told, they got beat a lot worse than the final score told in St. Louis. So the Rams get their first win. The Saints go to 5-3. That's not a bad record, but not where you wanted to be or expected to be at this time of the year, given the fact that you were facing back-to-back winless football teams, and you got 2 completely polar opposite different performances against those teams. When we return in just a moment, we'll take a look around the NFL as sportsNOLAtv continues from New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood, 4141 St. Charles Avenue.
Are you like millions of Americans, struggling to find enough energy to make it through the day? No matter how much coffee or soda you drink, 5 o'clock just can't come fast enough? Well, today, that all changes, because I want to introduce you to Mineral Concentrate, a groundbreaking exclusive product from Making Healthy Choices. This one-of-a-kind formula is not available in stores. It can only be purchased by calling 800-965-2345 or by logging on to mhclife.com. Just listen to what real people are saying about Mineral Concentrate.
I had instant energy.
I'm not getting tired halfway through the day.
I was alert and I was bright. It's going to give you energy like you haven't had in years.
I never thought I would feel as good as I do.
It's unbelievable. If you call right now, a 90-day supply can be yours for only $29.95. Mineral Concentrate from Making Healthy Choices. A better tomorrow starts today.
Would you like to have your cake and eat it too? Would you like to receive a lifetime guaranteed income while you are helping change the lives of people all over the world? I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. It's called a charitable gift annuity, and it pays a guaranteed fixed income for life, usually at a much higher rate than typical CDs or other investment methods. You can make a substantial gift to partner with LaCie Broadcasting and bring the gospel to bear the crisis needs of a fallen world at the same time. Find out today how you can have the joy of supporting the ministries of LaCie Broadcasting while guaranteeing an income for life. It's truly a gift that gives back.
Contact us at www.lacie.com or toll free at 1-866-224-2087 or email developments@lacie.com.
Our sportsNOLAtv trivia question of the day. The Saints gave up 6 sacks. Ouch. Sunday to Steve Spagnuolo's Rams defense. Our question is this: who was the opposing head coach the last time a Saints quarterback was sacked 6 or more times in a game? Great question. Last time. Think about it. We'll have the answer coming up in our next segment. Until then, we continue to entertain and hope you enjoy. Ken Trahan with you from our good and great friends at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company at 4141 St. Charles Avenue. And it's time now to take a look at the NFC South. And it was not an active day. Only Carolina was in action yesterday, and they lost a very close game per usual. This time to Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and Atlanta. They just kicked back, relaxed, and laughed their way to the bank as the Saints gave one back. And now each one of them will get a shot at the Saints over the next 2 weeks. Brian, obviously that was a gift for both the Falcons and the Bucs. No way they envisioned the Saints losing.
Nobody did. As we said earlier, Kenny, you know, when you looked at this game and this weekend, you thought this was a chance for the Saints to make some hay, to put some distance between them and the other teams, and it didn't work.
Tommy, this is a situation now where the Falcons, who started off struggling this year, are in a pretty good position.
Well, they're in a good position, and they know that. So is Tampa Bay. Both of those teams are, you know, every bit capable of beating the Saints or beating anybody in the NFL. And now, like the Saints gave the Rams life on Sunday, the Saints have given them life in the division.
Torrance, this is a really strange situation. Tampa Bay is coming to New Orleans off of the Saints' most embarrassing loss of the year. Tampa Bay had that embarrassing loss at San Francisco. The Saints went to Tampa, and the Buccaneers took it out on the Saints and beat them. I really think this is a situation in reverse for the Saints. They have a chance to redeem themselves and show that they are something. Because to me, this is a watershed game. If the Saints don't respond, they don't rebound, then we know this is more than a blip on the radar screen.
Exactly. We have to bounce back from this game. Good teams bounce back out their losses, out their adversity when it strikes, and that's something that we have to show this game. Understand now, Tampa's coming back with the big running back is back. Blunt is back, if I'm not mistaken. He'll be playing in this game, so we're gonna have to step up on defense.
Yeah, probably a good thing. Ernest Graham is hurt now, and he had his way with the Saints first time around. Well, we've heard that story before from running backs in the NFL. Let's take a look at the NFL scoreboard from this past weekend. Look, Brian, I think it illustrates that the top to bottom of the NFL is just not that much difference. Arizona had a gigantic lead on the Ravens in Baltimore, and the Ravens had to win. Patrick Peterson, a punt return for a touchdown. Houston's a pretty good team. They're steadying themselves, beat the Jags. Tennessee beat the hapless Colts. I don't know if they're going to win a game. Minnesota, as we mentioned, rallying past Carolina. The Giants had to rally past winless Miami, and they were playing at home at MetLife Stadium. And Buffalo, they're a pretty solid team. And Washington, they're dead on offense. 23-0 was the score there. Detroit took care of Tim Tebow and company. Don't blame Tebow. I mean, people are like bashing this guy. Unbelievable. My goodness. Joe Namath, John Elway, they couldn't do anything with Denver right now. Cincinnati, there's an impressive team and an impressive young quarterback in Andy Dalton. Philadelphia shut the Dallas lovers up last night. Pittsburgh, very impressive at home over New England. The Steelers are back, and Roethlisberger had a big game. And how about the 49ers? Brian, one-loss team, it does illustrate that a coach makes a difference, doesn't he?
You know, right now, if you look at the Saints, they're number 4 seed in the NFC, behind every other division leader right now.
Yeah, which is truly remarkable given the teams that we're talking about. The 49ers, again, just goes to show you about a coaching change and what that can do for a football program. As always, we have our fan question segment where we invite fans on hand at our respective locations to ask a question of our guest panelists. We have 3 questions today, which fits very well with our 3-man panel. State your name and fire away for Torrance Small.
How you doing? My name is Aaron Washington. I'm an employee over here at New Orleans Hamburger. And I just have a question. With the big SEC battle scheduled this weekend, what advantage does Alabama have by having a home field when 2 teams are equally compatible statistic-wise?
The crowd. How people they hold it,
102,000
102,000 in there screaming. The crowd, that's the only difference I can see in this game. But you look at both of these teams right now, and you're looking in the mirror. They both are looking at themselves when they look in the mirror. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm still pulling for LSU because I think they have 2 quarterbacks instead of 1.
All right, George, thank you. State your name and ask your question to Tommy Krysan.
Kristen Usai, and did not having Sean Payton on the sidelines affect the game at all? They just looked really lethargic.
Great question.
That's a great question, and I think it does affect. I mean, Torrance played in the league. It's a little different when the head coach says something to you like, hey, you got to run that route a little better, or you got to catch this, you got to make that block, make that tackle, than when a position coach tells you. And I think it's easy to say that, but it's a change. The team is used to having him there, and not having him, I think, had some impact. Did it mean the difference of winning and losing? No, but I think it affects the team.
I agree with you 100%. You know, we went over this. We thought it had a big impact in the Tampa game because it happened in the game. We thought they adjusted last week because they had a week to prepare. But I think when things are going poorly, Brian, you have a chance to stop the bleeding. He couldn't even come down at halftime to address the team, much less make an impact on the sideline. Just having him down there with his presence and his barking and his ability to think on the run and make adjustments and changes, I think does make a difference.
I agree, and it'll be interesting to see what he does against Tampa Bay, whether or not he does make it down there ahead of schedule now. That would be truly ahead of schedule. But you know what, Tommy, I disagree with you guys in this. He was up in the booth for Indianapolis.
He was.
All right, they beat a hapless, winless Colts
But things
team.
were going well.
Things were going well.
Yeah.
You know,
You need to coach when it's not going well.
I think that's the big.
When adversity hit.
I think that's the salient point here.
I could have been coaching when it was 49-7.
I had a shot to coach that game. I think Kenny Chesney called a play. Maybe not.
They should have had Kenny Chesney in the booth on the other
There
day.
you go. All right, you can state your name and question for Brian Alley Walsh.
Yeah, my name is Kwanzaa Khalid.
How are you, sir?
Not doing too good today.
Understood. I understand.
Huh? Well, that's why I have a question to ask.
Okay.
Now I've seen a lot of games. Saints played was at the Colts. Team hadn't won a game and they killed them. Now they come back with a team like Washington. And I can't think of any sane reason why the Saints should have looked so bad for 3 quarters and then end up losing the game. Now, I've heard that the odds in Vegas was, what, 14 and a half?
Yeah, something like that.
So anybody who betted against the Saints cleaned up, right? I hope that wasn't the whole team betting against themselves.
All right, so Brian, how do you explain this, man?
I don't think you can explain it. I mean, you know, people want to say it's any given day in the NFL, that type of thing, or parity. But I really don't. I really think that the Saints were not prepared to play. And we wrote it for our website that Sean Payton did not have this team ready to play. Bottom line.
I agree. He said they were flat.
Yeah.
He took the blame right after the game, and I admired that. But this is a total failure. These guys are paid professionals, and I might add, paid pretty well.
Guys are paid, and they're paid pretty well, as you say. But sometimes it's all about attitude. Attitude and effort. They had more attitude. They had more effort. They wanted this game a little bit more than we did in this show.
Yeah, their guys get paid too. And they got paid better apparently in this game because their effort was significantly better. I don't know. This was a sleepwalk effort from the start, and it never changed. I mean, you just looked at what you were looking at, and you never saw any rah-rah. You never saw any excitement. You never saw anybody screaming at his teammates like Steven Jackson did at one point when he thought his teammates were starting to let things slip away just a little bit. That's a guy with passion. That's a guy that took a leadership role.
Exactly.
Didn't see that on the other side. And leadership is not always born of screaming at teammates. But obviously, there's accountability here, and there didn't seem to be any. And there didn't seem to be any solutions, clearly, on the Saints sideline or on the field. When we return in just a moment, our favorite segment, as we put Brian Alley Walsh on the hot seat. Get ready. You have an opinion on LSU, Alabama, the coaches, the game, all of that coming up next as we continue with sportsNOLAtv from New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood, 4141 St. Charles Avenue.
Al-Qaeda may be down, but it's not out.
By 2007, it had managed to rebound.
And a terrorist by any other name is just as deadly.
The Hezbollah presence has expanded into criminality.
The Muslim Brotherhood is by far the most energetic proponent of this kind of stealthy jihad.
How terrorist groups are gaining ground while we're treading water.
Tired of dentures that don't fit properly? Our implants change everything. Your implant dentures will literally snap into place, so you can take a bite out of life again. Louisiana Dental Center. We'll see you today.
Trust your car to AutoGuard USA. Do you own a car, truck, or SUV with less than 150,000 miles? Has your factory warranty expired? Now you can get an extended vehicle protection plan from AutoGuard USA. This vehicle protection plan is customized just for you. If you own a car, truck, or SUV, eventually your car will break down. Repair bills could cost thousands of dollars. Did you know that a new engine could cost over $3,600? A new transmission will cost over $2,000. Insurance covers accidents, but what if your car breaks down? You need an extended vehicle protection plan from AutoGuard USA.
You won't have to pay for repair bills up front and then wait to be reimbursed. If your car is over 3 years old, it's easy to qualify. You choose the licensed repair shop and we pay the bill. It's that simple. Call now and get our 24-hour roadside assistance added for free when you activate your extended vehicle protection plan.
Trust your car to AutoGuard USA.
Call us today to get a free quote in just 5 minutes. You could save thousands.
888-578-1611. That's 888-578-1611.
Our sportsNOLAtv trivia question, I know you've given it a lot of thought, as I have. I think I've got it. The Saints gave up 6 sacks Sunday to Steve Spagnuolo's Rams defense. Who was the opposing head coach the last time a Saints quarterback was sacked 6 or more times? The answer is bingo! Nick Saban of the Miami Dolphins. You remember the game, Brian? We covered it in Tiger Stadium, the Katrina year, and the Dolphins won the game, and good to see Randy Mueller at that game, and good to see that the NFL stood behind the Saints at a time when New Orleans needed them to. Remember that very, very well. Things happening around elevators, everything else. It was a pretty interesting time, to say the least, in New Orleans Saints history. It's a pretty interesting time on this television show because it is the time where each and every week we put Brian Ellie Walsh of sportsNOLA.com on the hot seat. And today's topic, what else would it possibly be? The game of the year, the game of the decade, who knows? Maybe the game of the century. We've heard that term about 5 times previously. LSU at Alabama. Who's going to win the game? Who has the coaching advantage on the sideline? Mr. Walsh, the floor is yours.
The home field advantage goes to Alabama. Bryant-Denny Stadium's going to be rocking and rolling, crimson and tide. But I've liked LSU for most of the season. I don't see any reason to waver. I like Les Miles, what he's done so far to get this team ready to play each and every week. I like his staff from top to bottom, offensively, defensively, and I think they're going to go in there, not only cover the 4 points, they're going to win outright and come back and be the #1 team and go play for the national championship.
I agree. For the first time, there's always a first time, Torrance. With Brian. I agree. I think LSU is going to win this game. And I think Les Miles, coaching, I think Nick Saban is a better coach. That I think. I think he's going to have his team prepared, whatnot. But when it comes to situations, I think Les Miles is the best situation coach out there. What they call him, the Mad Hatter or whatever. He makes the right calls at the right time, and I think he's going to have one that's going to have this game that turn out the way LSU wants it.
I think LSU is the better football team, and I think they're going to win the football game. I think it's a toss-up with the coaches. Maybe Saban with a hair of an edge on preparation, but these are arguably 2 of the best coaches in the country, bar none. Look at the track record of both guys. It speaks volumes, okay? I think LSU's better on paper. They're going to have to transfer that to the field. They haven't turned the ball over in 5 straight games. That's remarkable. Don't know if all of a sudden that balloon bursts this week. Who knows? But I like Les Miles on the sideline during the game. I haven't always, but I have come to have an appreciation for him that didn't exist years ago.
You know, I'm curious to see how this week off for both teams is going to affect their momentum, because they were both playing really good football coming in. You think it's going to allow those who were injured to heal up a little bit, and it gives everybody that extra week of preparation, just like they do in a Super Bowl setting.
LSU is as healthy as you can be after playing 8 football games. Okay? Lonergan could have played against Auburn. They chose not to let him play. Both of these coaches had 30-plus days to prepare for a BCS championship in recent time. They're in bowl games every year. That open date on the schedule, that extra time, helped both programs, both teams, and they treated that first of the 2 weeks differently than if it was Western Kentucky as the next opponent or North Texas or whoever Alabama plays later. But I think that open date just added to the hype of this entire thing.
And that's what it did. It's selling tickets. I think the open day is just selling tickets right now for LSU, for Alabama and all. It makes it exciting.
You mean increasing scalpers tickets, don't you?
That too.
$5,000 somewhere.
That too. But this game is going to come down to turnovers, I think. You know, I think the team with the least amount of turnovers is going to win. Now, I think Nick Saban is the better coach in this battle, but I think LSU have the better players.
All right.
This is what
go ahead, and then the judge will step in.
College football to be about. Have number one versus number two. Over 100,000 people. There's only what 5 or 6 stadiums where this could even be taking place. 1 versus 2. CBS pulling rabbits out the hat to move it to prime time, cutting deals left and right. You know, the coverage, not just in South Louisiana and the state of Alabama. Normally, that's where the SEC coverage has its boundaries. This one has spread nationwide. There's not a college football fan in this country that won't have the TV on Saturday night.
Let me ask you, Torrance, why do you think Nick Saban is a better coach than Les Miles?
I think Nick Saban is great at preparation, getting his guys ready to play. He's a very detailed coach.
Right.
I had the opportunity to watch a show on him when he was teaching the kids, and it's the detail that he teaches those kids. He did something when he went to the NFL. I heard he was very detailed, so that's why I give him the edge. It's the detail.
He did a great job in Miami, didn't he?
Well, that is a.
He actually did a pretty good job in Miami. That's a farce to say he did a poor job there. He actually did a pretty good job given the circumstances.
Yes, he couldn't reach the guys.
Let me interject.
But that's what I think.
Well, the bottom line is this. They're both excellent football coaches in their own way. And it perturbs me on a regular basis when I hear LSU fans hate on Nick Saban and love Les Miles, or they pine for Nick Saban and they hate Les Miles. Get over it. These guys are both outstanding coaches who have done a tremendous job to make you an elite program. You wouldn't be there without Nick Saban. He changed an attitude. He got an administration to make a commitment. He got facilities built, and look at the results. He recruited players, and they won and won big. He left for an NFL job. He did not leave for Alabama. Get over it. And as for Les Miles, he may eat grass. He may say things that nobody seems to understand. He may be a guy that makes the worst time decisions in the history of mankind, but he wins, and he wins big. And more than anything else, his players love him, and they play for him, and they love the gambling nature of who he is and what he does. They feed off of that. Listen, the Alabama game last year, it really turned on a reverse, on a trick play to Peterson. It changed the whole game, and Les Miles will do it again against Alabama. He will take a chance that Nick Saban's not likely to take. Saban is by the books. Les is anything but by the books. That's what makes this interesting. By the way, the bad coach at LSU is 2-2 against the great coach at Alabama. They're both great coaches. They both won national championships. My guess is they both will win another one at some point in time, like maybe this year, one of the two, whoever wins this game. Stay tuned for that. That's my take. And as for another take, you want to be inspired, you want to be motivated, Marvelous Marvin is here to take care of that. It's the Marvelous Minute with our good and great friend Marvin LeBlanc, who is adorned in his impartial attire here today to inspire you with a great comment or two. Here's Marvin LeBlanc.
Good afternoon, marvelous people. The future's so bright, I gotta wear shades today, baby. I got the right colors on, and here's what we want to talk about. The honey badger don't care. The honey badger is gonna get it done this weekend. Yes, sir. Today we want to talk about something that by the time you eat gumbo at lunchtime tomorrow, I am gonna guarantee to improve your happiness. And so you can go to marvinleblanc.com/TV and get this free document. That's a price you probably love out there in South Louisiana. And what is this document here? The name of the document is called Givers and Takers. And Torrance, what we're talking about is there's only two kind of people in the whole world, and those people are givers and takers. And so this is your homework. Remember what your teacher used to tell you? You got homework and your ears would perk up because you didn't want to look bad in class the next day? Well, your homework is to list those top 10 people in your life that are either givers or they're takers. They can't be in the middle. So someone is either giving and contributing to your life, or they're sucking the life juice out of your life. And so you want to know why sometimes you're not happy? It's because you're right. You're probably around too many takers. And so if we go get this document filled out, I guarantee by gumbo time tomorrow at lunch, you will have better happiness. Now, let's remember one thing. We have a hot date this weekend in Tuscaloosa. And that hot date is with a lady named Destiny. And remember this, Destiny is going to choose a good-looking guy named Mike the Bengal Tiger. Arr! Take it on home. Back to you, Ken.
Oh, he scared me. I mean, listen, I'm easily intimidated. What can I tell you? When we return, more on LSU and Tulane, plus our prep feature on McMain and a special accomplishment by J.T. Curtis and John Curtis Christian when sportsNOLAtv continues.
24 hours a day, prayer goes up from the Western Wall, also called the Wailing Wall. But you know, 24 hours a day, Middle East television, Far East television, and World Harvest Radio goes out around the world, touching people with the gospel. You know, you can be a part of that right now by going to your phone and calling and being a part, changing lives all over the world. You know, prayer is going up from here, the gospel is going out also. We need to hear from you today. Help us support Middle East television, Far East television, and World Harvest Radio.
Do you sometimes wonder what life would be like if you had the energy to do those extra things you want to, but just can't? Maybe it's take your spouse out to dinner after work, or spend more time playing with your kids. If you've decided that your prime years have passed you by and you'll never have the energy you once had, let me introduce you to Mineral Concentrate. Mineral Concentrate's unique fulvic acid trace mineral formula promotes maximum cell function while sparking your body's electrical conductivity. What does that mean? Well, most people say they've never felt better.
I never thought I would feel as good as I do.
It's going to give you energy like you haven't had in years.
I found it very easy to use. There's no pills to swallow.
I wake up and I have more energy throughout the entire day.
I feel great. I have a lot of energy. I'm not getting tired halfway through the day.
I had instant energy. I feel younger.
It's absolutely wonderful. It's easy to use and the benefits are phenomenal.
It's helped me with my emotions, my overall well-being.
It's unbelievable.
The best part is a 90-day supply is only $29.95. And if you call now, we will even pay to ship it to you. So dial 800-965-2345 or go to mhclife.com. Mineral Concentrate can change your life and restore what you thought was gone forever. So do it for your spouse, your kids, your family, but most of all, do it for you. Call 800-965-2345 and get that energy boost today.
Reed Bryan's biting analysis of the Saints debacle at St. Louis. Also, every day something new from one of our cavalcade of writers about the LSU-Alabama game, J.T. Curtis's accomplishment, prep playoffs beckoning, volleyball pairings, you name it, we've got it at sportsNOLA.com, best source on the web anywhere, anytime. And prep, there's nothing like it at sportsNOLA.com. Ken Trahan with you, New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood at 4141 St. Charles Avenue. Well, we talked about LSU a bit in the last segment. Looking back at the game last year, Tommy, LSU more than doubled Alabama's rushing effort despite the presence of Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson. LSU's quarterbacks combined outplayed Greg McElroy, and A.J. McCarron is not really where McElroy was at that point of his career. At this point in his career, I give LSU the edge at quarterback.
Yeah, they definitely have the edge at quarterback. LSU became a better football team when Jordan Jefferson was put back on the roster, and that is a threat to the defense. It's stuff for the defense to think about. They're a better football team, and they got better players. I mean, you know, once 7 o'clock Saturday gets here, Nick Saban and Les Miles aren't going to do any tackling, any blocking, anything like that. LSU has better players. They're going to win the football game straight up by a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, LSU has the best receiver that will be on the field, too, in Ruben Randall. LSU has good running backs. I don't think any one of them is as good as Richardson, who I think is an elite player, but the package is good. I think LSU's offensive line, when healthy, is every bit as good, if not better. Defensively, I love LSU's depth Up front, linebackers, definite edge to Alabama. Secondary, definite edge to LSU.
And again, Richardson leads the nation in yards after contact.
Right.
LSU
Terrific
have
player.
to get him on the ground.
On the second level.
Whatever they do, they got to get him on the ground, with whether it's gang tackling, don't hold him up and strip the ball. Get him on the ground. Again, he leads the nation in yards after contact. That's got to be a focus of the LSU defense.
Strong guy. They had his stats up there. I think he squats 600 pounds.
He's a real deal.
Bench pressing over 400 pounds.
More talented than Mark Ingram.
Oh, yes.
No
Always
doubt.
has been.
Definitely.
And I'll tell you what, he's something to watch, guys. He not only has the power, look at the power, but look at that speed once he gets to the second level.
I got a question.
Look at that. Look at the wiggle there. Made a nice cut. Of course, he's got wide open space here after the cut, but still, he's a special guy. And this is what they want to do, Brian.
Does he win or lose the Heisman with this game?
Oh, I think he has a chance to win it, but I still say Andrew Luck is the favorite. He's a quarterback. He touches the ball on every play, and he's undefeated right now, and he beat USC in triple overtime.
Yes.
So, but I think Richardson's right there.
Yeah.
But LSU Alabama is going to be a special game. As for Tulane, nothing special going on there. They played pretty competitive for a half against East Carolina, but then depth wore down, and they got nothing done offensively in the second half. Lost to the Pirates 34-13, 17-0 blanked in the second half. Orleans Darkwa got drilled on one play that everybody's seen, but he had a good game. Now it's on to SMU. What's left, Brian? Hiring a new coach, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody's looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, they're out of the bowl eligibility picture right now, so.
They didn't meet the magic number.
Yeah.
They didn't get our magic number.
Nope.
They're done.
This countdown. At least they didn't have any special teams busts in this game like they seem to have just about every game. Nice job there. Good pursuit. Nice hit. Bottom line is, Tommy, they're just not good enough. They need to get better, and they need a coach that's going to invigorate this fan base, which has really dwindled and is not exciting.
They need fan support, but they need a coach who can go get players. I mean, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. Nobody stays the same in the game of football. Tulane has to get a coach who's going to get his players to get better every day so that they can compete week in and week out.
Now
it's all about players.
It really is, on any level, and certainly at the collegiate level. Time to take a look at the BCS standings for this week, and of course, no surprise when we take a look at the top with LSU and Alabama staying where they were. The big change comes after that, Tommy. You got Oklahoma State up to third, who has a very good football team, maybe coming to the Sugar Bowl, if not the national championship. Boise State, Clemson, Stanford, of course, Oregon, we remember them. And then there's a drop-off after that.
If Oklahoma State can beat Oklahoma on December 3rd, they'll be in the national championship game. So,
right.
Against the winner of LSU and Alabama.
And if Oklahoma wins that game, there's a chance for a rematch.
The only way that's a rematch is if LSU loses the match in Tuscaloosa. If Alabama loses at home, they're not going to be put into a rematch.
Okay, that's the question I wanted to ask. I wanted to find out, is it possible for part 2 of this weekend's game?
Absolutely, there's a possibility. And I'll tell you what, based upon the way this season is unfolding, I wouldn't mind seeing it. Each and every week, we pick a prep player of the week for sportsNOLA.com, for sportsNOLAtv. Also at WGSO Radio 990 AM, Ryan Noonan, junior quarterback at Pope John Paul II, is our prep player of the week. What a game he had. Check this out. He passed for 4 touchdowns, 9 of 11 for 234 yards, 11 rushes, 96 yards, 2 more touchdowns, 44-26. Pope John Paul II beat St. Thomas Aquinas. He'll be honored at the year-end meeting of the Greater New Orleans Quarterback Club on December the 19th. Congratulations to Mark Jeanmard and Ryan Noonan. 6'2", 190, just a junior. Remember that name. He's awfully good. Goes without saying that this is a guy that people are going to keep their eyes on.
There's no question about that. I mean, what a performance that was.
Yeah, you said 9 of 11?
9 of 11.
With 234, 4 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Not bad.
You should have threw it a few more times.
You got it. One school that's having an outstanding season, winning streak intact, good school, and a great guy running the program, the McMain Mustangs of Kevin Roussel. Jude Young profiles McMain High School.
Coach Kevin Roussel, your McMain Mustangs are on quite a roll, trying to get back to the playoffs for a second straight season. And of late, your defense has been phenomenal, shutting down opponents, especially your inner-city rivals.
Well, we came along as a defensive unit. We had a lot of new people on defense, and they starting to bind as a whole group. So we made a lot of mistakes early on. So now they're starting to play good team defense right now.
The offensive side of the ball, hey, you've got a good defense going, you want to have a powerful running game, and your offense has certainly been making the rounds, as in Josh Rounds, your senior running back. He's done a great job for you the past couple seasons.
Josh has been great the last 3 years for us. Like I've been saying all year long, we're going to ride that horse. He's our horse, and we're going to keep on riding him. And I mean, he have done a great job. He wants the football. And he look like as the game go on, he gets stronger.
Certainly that could be a great future for him on the next level, but your focus is now. And last year you get to the playoffs and fall in the first round. This year's Mustangs look like they can make the postseason. Again, they're certainly on their way. What can make the difference for you to get over that hump and get a postseason win or maybe more?
For us to continue to play good defense and also play better special teams. I have a young kid at quarterback. He's getting better as the season goes on. He's starting to throw the ball a lot better. Amari Jones is his name, and he's doing a great job for us, and he's the key right now. If we get him to do the things we need him to do, we might can make a little noise.
Excellent football team, one of the nicer coaches you'll ever meet, Kevin Russell at McMain High School. Speaking of nice coaches, J.T. Curtis is a pretty nice guy. He's also a very special coach who's accomplished something that only one other coach in the history of the United States has accomplished. 500 victories on the high school level. It came against Clark this past Thursday night. We were there to take a look.
You know, these kind of things were milestones, and I couldn't be more excited for our team, and I couldn't be more excited for the alumni.
What about the guys that came back? What a testament to you and to your program.
Well, you know, when you realize how far they came from, I mean, we guys came from all over the country. You know, I was so glad to see Joe. Jonathan Wells was back. The guys came from just everywhere, and you know, I guess it's a testament to how they feel about our school and about our program, and I'm proud of every one of them.
Message for your dad?
Oh, yeah. You know, the old man was cheering the whole time. I mean, there's no doubt he was looking down. You know, the scripture says there's a great cloud of witnesses that look down. I promise you, he was in that great cloud and had a whole crowd with him.
And so this milestone wouldn't have happened without your players, correct?
No, exactly. You know, every one of them. And I said that to the players as we went through the week. I said, you know, every guy that won a game had a part in putting us at 500. And without them, you don't have it. And so, you know, the credit goes to the players and the coaches and the job they've done through the years.
What stands out most about this night for you?
You know, just the camaraderie. It just warms your heart so much to see guys that come back to share this experience with you and talks about the kind of commitment that they have to the team and to the school and the love that we have for each other. We never, my wife and I, we were talking the other night, we never started out thinking about 500. We started out 0-10 and hoping to win a game. And we've taken them one at a time since then, and God's been good. And I can't ask, I couldn't ask more from our players or our coaches or our team than to do what they have done.
Toothache.
Gingivitis.
Plaque. Cavity. Tartar. Tooth decay.
Gum disease.
Abscess tooth.
What's that?
A filling, not a crown.
A bridge? You mean I need a root canal?
Come on, man. The only thing worse than hearing those words is hearing that your dentist can't see you today. Call Louisiana Dental Center, home of the same-day appointment.
In East Africa, over 11 million people face starvation. Feed the Hungry relief teams are distributing tons of food to the suffering in Jesus' name. But much more must be done because thousands of children are on the brink of life and death. Every $25 donated today will keep 5 people alive for another month. $100 will provide a month of rations for 20 people. Every person caught in the grip of this historic drought is precious, and every day counts. Please call 1-888-832-6334 or donate online at feedthehungry.org. Your compassionate gift today can be the difference between life and death and will bring hope to souls in East Africa that are suffering.
Hi,
I'm Pastor Shirley Vicks with the Church of God of Prophecy, located in Hammond, Louisiana. Since airing my program, Setting the Captives Free, every Wednesday at 6 a.m. on WHNO-TV, I have received tremendous response through phone calls and visitors. I highly recommend WHNO-TV Channel 20 as an advertising tool for your church and business.
New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company, 4141 St. Charles Avenue. And folks, the address is memorable. The food's even more memorable. Great setting as well. And you get free ice cream. All kinds of iced tea like you wouldn't believe. I love the Shrimpzilla. You want to put a little meat on a shrimp sandwich? Good place to do that. Not a bad deal at all. Like the barbecue shrimp, the one-handed po' boy as well. I can go on and on. But then again, you probably knew that because New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company is a New Orleans institution. Ken Trahan, sportsNOLAtv. Saints and the Buccaneers in the Superdome. It's a game that's very important in the NFC South. And, of course, the Bucs won the first matchup. Brian, who wins this time?
I like the Saints at home. I think they're going to rebound. I like their chances.
Why?
Because I think there's a tremendous sense of urgency that Peyton is going to instill this week. Raheem Morris has their number right now, though. But I just like the Saints at home, and I think because they are an elite team, or at least aspirations, I think they will rebound.
Tommy?
I think Tampa Bay wins the game. I think they're going to see the weaknesses that the Rams uncovered, and they're going to exploit that. They know they beat the Saints a couple of weeks ago. I think they're going to come in foaming at the mouth, and I think they're going to take it to the Saints.
Torrance?
I think the Saints are going to win this game. Reason why I think the Saints are going to win is when I think they're going to come out and play with more passion. The last game we didn't have any passion at all, and I think they're going to come back. They're going to, and if you look at history, they always split during the season.
Sense of urgency. I think the Saints win the game. If they don't, it's a signal that they're in very deep trouble. No question about that. All right, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the New Orleans Saints. It's Tampa Bay, and that game is, of course, at home. That is not at Tampa Bay. That is at home. Then it's at Atlanta. And then, of course, the New York Giants coming to town in a big one. Then the Detroit Lions. Stay tuned for that one. That could be a flex game and be moved to prime time. We'll see. But those are four very important games, all tough games coming up for the New Orleans Saints. Of course, it's a very special weekend for the New Orleans Saints as well because it's the annual All Saints weekend where Saints alumni come to town each and every year to celebrate a weekend as part of the Saints Hall of Fame festivities, the 12th annual All Saints Night Gala this Friday night, November the 4th, 6 to 10 p.m. at the Rivertown Exhibition Hall, the former Saints Hall of Fame at 415 Williams Boulevard. 35, 40 guys in town from around the country. 20 restaurants catering, $50 cost. You can go to NewOrleansSaints.com for more information, or you can buy your tickets at the door. We'd love to see you there. Bring your appetite. And then, of course, the Saints Hall of Fame induction dinner honoring Sammy Knight, who's this year's inductee. Outstanding safety, 28 interceptions. Pro Bowler Bruce Miller, longtime sports broadcaster in New Orleans, being honored with the Joe Gemelli Fleur-de-Lis Award. Saturday, November 5th, 7 p.m. in the Bienville Room of the Superdome. Tickets are $75 a piece. Go to NewOrleansSaints.com or sportsNOLA.com for more information on the Saints Hall of Fame events. As we close here, Torrance, Sammy Knight, he was pretty good, wasn't he?
Sammy Knight was a great player. Always had a nose for the ball, always made plays, had a great nose for the ball.
Ryan, you covered the Saints then. A huge mistake, one of the biggest mistakes they ever made. Ran him out for Bucky Jones.
Absolutely, yeah, with New England. You know what, and Bruce Miller, too.
What a great guy.
Both are great, deserving inductees.
Tommy, you grew up here. You heard Bruce Miller all the time.
Bruce Miller, many a time. I always enjoyed listening to him. He was a fun guy. He liked what he did, and you could feel that through his sportscast.
Yeah, he loved covering the Saints, but he loved Tulane, and it was a passion of his life. He's in the Tulane Sports Hall of Fame. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Tommy, great having you here today.
Hey, I like to have fun, and I've had fun today.
Take it down more often. Brian and Torrance, it's always a pleasure.
Oh, it was great.
All right.
Everybody be safe out there. Hey, we got Trick, but go have your Trick.
All right. For Torrance Small, for Brian Ellie Walsh, and for Tommy Krysan, I'm Ken Trahan saying thanks for joining us. Be a good sport, and God bless you one and all. Rounding third and heading home. So long.